Excuse me, but I would really appreciate it if everybody could keep their comments quiet. Apologize to our members. I'm sorry that you're out this way.
Just because the people that agree with you are doing one point. You're very
I'm done. Now, why don't you come out in the print? Why don't you come out on the news and in print?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give one second for Congress. Excellent. The United States Marine from Phoenix, Arizona, came out with over 240. This healthcare plan is a boondoggle and a threat against all of us.
And she was out of there. That is footage from a healthcare town hall hosted by the AARP in Dallas. It was a listening tour, essentially, they were calling it. But the listening didn't work out so well. By the end of that meeting, many of the folks in the room said they were canceling their AARP memberships and demanding their dues back. So, does the AARP have an agenda in this healthcare reform debate? And is this any kind of way for it to treat its concerned members? Joining us now, AARP spokesperson Drew Nannis. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Megan.
Well, this is making the rounds on the internet, and it doesn't reflect too well on the person who was supposed to be running the listening tour. She got very frustrated with the people in that room who were trying to express their concerns, maybe not in the words she liked. No one called her names, maybe not in the tone she liked. But is this any kind of way to treat your members?
Well, I think what we need to do is when we look at this particular video to realize that we've been having dozens of these things across the country, and the vast majority of them are going very smoothly. In this particular case, what you don't see on the YouTube cut is that the meeting went actually on for 30 minutes before it was closed down. And what you had was an unfortunate situation of a few people who wanted to disrupt the meeting to the point of not having a dialogue. And let me just be very clear about this. AARP is having these meetings and will continue to have these meetings so that we can have that dialogue, because we want to hear dissent. The good news that came out of Dallas was 2 days after that event happened on Tuesday, so yesterday morning, they had another event in Dallas with the same moderator. A lot of the same people showed up, including the people who didn't agree with AARP. There was a lot of dissent in the room, but it went smoothly. There was a give and take, an engage of ideas, and that's exactly what we want to happen.
Really? Because a lot of people think the reason there was no give and take is because of the rude behavior of this moderator, who made some assumptions about how the people in the room were going to feel when they tried to tell her they felt differently. She took issue with it. For example, watch the following clip, and I'll get you to react.
Well, I can't see anything.
You know what? You're not really running the meeting, sir, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. We're going to be working on. Excuse me.
Do you guys work for us or do we work for you?
And then there's another one. Hold on, stand by.
I think we can all agree that the system that we have now isn't sustainable. And I also think that we can agree that the current system could use some reforms and improvements. Just review the program. Excuse me, but I would really appreciate it if everybody could keep their comments quiet until there's time for the public. We're going to have time for everybody to have question and answers, and I would appreciate some courtesy. Really. I mean, this might be fun for you, but that's not what we're doing today.
This might be fun for you. She sounds snarky.
I think what she sounds is frustrated after trying to get a meeting in order. But one of the points that I think is very telling about this is after she tried to keep the meeting going for a half an hour, when she left, we actually received apologies from a lot of the people who didn't agree with AARP, probably will never agree with AARP, but did want to hear the give and take that happened. In fact, we have them via email from some of these folks who say, look, things got out of control. We're very sorry. We wanted to have this dialogue. And I'm very happy to report that yesterday morning they got to have that dialogue.
Well, a lot of these other people, though, Drew, are very unhappy still about how that meeting went, including those who have now canceled their AARP memberships or have resolved to do so. And the reason that they were upset is because she said, I think we can all agree the system we have right now is not sustainable. One of the members said, no, we can't agree. Some people actually like their health care system and don't want it reformed, which the AARP doesn't agree with. They were trying to tell you they don't agree with the AARP stance, and the woman would not listen. Is AARP not apologizing for her refusal to listen?
AARP wants everyone to know that we will listen to any dissent, and I think that video shows that was not an orderly discussion. That was a bunch of people yelling back. And the good news is that
it was that
these
woman
meetings are
pulling
happening.
the mic and walking out and shutting down the AARP members who wanted to be heard.
Well, after a half hour, I think she got a little frustrated. But I'm glad. I think it's important to note that the meeting actually did occur less than 2 days later in the same city.
You said that 3 times. My question is, are you going to apologize for the way that woman treated those AARP members?
I'm not going to apologize for the way that somebody tried to handle a meeting and got shouted down, but then decided to have the meeting, step up 2 days later and have the meeting anyway.
Okay, well then the AARP members watching you and listening to this can make up their own mind about whether that's an organization they want to be part of.
And hopefully they'll come to our town halls in order to do it.
And they can see what they expect. Drew, thanks for being here.
Of course, my pleasure.
So much for a slow summer, huh? The momentum at these town halls over health care is not slowing down. This from another one here.
Go sit down. I have a question for this young man.
Some are calling these events manufactured outrage. You'll see this clip. We'll figure out whether or not that's really true.
What do you think? You think that's manufactured? And do you think the AARP owes an apology? By the way, America's Newsroom at foxnews.com. Plus, check this out. A major push to create more wind and solar energy in California, but there are some